All right, welcome to the Fold Mysteries, where we seek to discover everything that lies between the folds of reality. So today's a little different. We are missing our esteemed co-host, Chad. He's a little indisposed at the moment, but we're hoping he has a chance to jump on eventually. Um, but I don't really have a lot of news other than I'm enjoying being a grandma. This week's been kind of crazy with my place of employment shutting down, so that's like a whole other level of stress. But it is what it is, and life moves on, and I'm on to bigger and better things. But we do have a really cool guest today. Her name is Rachel Weaver. So, welcome
Hi
to the Fold
guys.
Mysteries, Rachel
Thank you,
Weaver.
thank you. Thank you, thank you. I'm glad
So,
to be here.
Rachel
This is
Weaver,
awesome.
yes, it's awesome to have you. So, Rachel Weaver has always had a fascination with the paranormal. From a young age, she experienced spirits and unexplained events that sparked her lifelong curiosity. Over 10 years ago, she began investigating with her daughter, and together they have explored many sites across West Virginia. Among her favorite investigations are the Anchorage in Marietta, Ohio, and the Hammond House in Sutton, West Virginia. Beyond the paranormal, Rachel enjoys kayaking and spending time with time in nature. One of her dreams is to retire on the beach where she can enjoy the peace of the ocean alongside her adventurous spirit. And you are also a part of Appalachian Ghost Tours as
Yes.
well.
Yes.
So very cool.
Yay.
Very cool. So I did notice that in your bio you talked about how you've had, you started experiencing things at a very young age, but then you only started investigating roughly 10 years ago with your daughter. So I'm
Mhm.
just curious why there was such a gap in investigating and when you first started experiencing everything.
Yeah, so when I was very little, probably around 4 years old, my parents divorced, and my father and I moved in with my grandparents, and they actually lived in this huge Victorian house, which is still standing. It's gorgeous. Unfortunately, the people that own it now, they actually took the columns off the front of the house and changed it dramatically. But um, in this house, there was a back, they called it a parlor, and when I go in the parlor, it was very dark even though that the lights were on, and I actually would see people standing around this room, and they were smiling and talking, and I'm like, I didn't understand it. I was 4 years old. And then, of course, when I'd go upstairs to bed, I could never go alone because I wanted to, you go up one flight and then turn and then go up another flight of stairs, and there were so many people going in and out of each room. So I was very confused. I didn't say anything, but I didn't understand because nobody else saw these people. I mean, there was nobody up there. But they always would smile and wave at me. And I found out later that in the parlor, they used to lay out, if someone passed away in our family, that's where they'd lay out the body. So a lot of it was my family members from before my time, way before my time. Um, Through the years, once we left that house, we lived in a mobile home with my grandparents, and I'd see white mist at night. I'd see this lady down the hallway. Um, so a lot of things happened. I couldn't go into crowds because my granny actually had to hold me up so I wouldn't faint because it was so overwhelming, and so I didn't quite understand it. And as I grew up, I mean, different things happened to me. I would see things. People would talk in my ears. Um, so it was a whole thing. I just didn't understand it. I always had a love of horror movies. My granny did too, and I never understood that because she was this good Christian lady, but she loved horror movies, and she actually turned me on to paranormal books. There was a I'm actually from Fairmont and West Virginia, and there was a writer from there, Ruth Ann Music, who wrote like The Telltale Lilac Bush and Coffin Hollow. I don't know if you guys have heard of those books. Became very fascinated with them because a lot of her stories happened around where I live. So being a child, I was really confused. It scared me because I didn't really know what was going on. I couldn't talk to my granny because, like I said, she lived her faith. I was like, oh, she might not. I couldn't, I could talk to her about anything, but not that. So I grew up, got married, got divorced. Before I got divorced, I had a child, and I spent my time just, I went on with my life and raised my child. But then found out she had a gift too. She would see people, especially this one townhouse we lived in. She said, Mommy, somebody went in that townhouse. I said, No, there's nobody out there. She said, Mommy, they went through the door. I said, Honey, nobody's there. And she's like, No, they didn't open the door. They went through the door. So I was like, Ah. So
Oh,
yeah, she had a few experiences, but I kind of put it on the back burner because I was a single mom, trying to, I had my career. I was trying to go to school to further my education. And, but once she got to high school, we started, really, well, we watched this one paranormal show that it really started, we started talking about our gifts and everything, just, one thing led to another. We found out that our house, well, my house is haunted, and we talked about that. There's a little girl that sits with me and smiles at me and plays with my hair. There's two old men upstairs. One always protected my daughter. The other one is a dark energy. And I said, well, he's just a grumpy old man. That's what he is. But they do things. I can hear them walking upstairs. They throw things sometimes. I really do believe that the little girl saved us from a horrific accident. Um,
wow.
I love adventure, and I'm not the type of person that let's plan this vacation a year in advance. I'm just like, pack your bag, we're going. And so we packed our bags. We're sitting there for a minute, and I'm kind of a messy person. The being a single mom, I was always kind of messy, but I actually we both saw this bracelet that was in the middle of the table. We weren't near it, and it looked like somebody picked it up and threw it on the floor. And so because of that, we kind of stopped before we left, and we just waited a minute and we talked. I was like, what was that? And we talked about it a little bit, but it prevented us from leaving right then because of that. Well, when we got close to Beckley, West Virginia, there was a really bad accident, and several people had been killed in that accident.
Oh my
And
gosh.
yeah, both of us, we really felt that if we would have went when we were supposed to go, that we would have been in that accident. So we call them the OGs. They
Yeah.
don't bother us. We don't bother them. Sometimes they watch me from there's stairs that go up to the attic where my daughter's room is, and they'll watch me wash clothes and dry clothes, and I'll say hi, but we just kind of keep it, you do your thing, we'll do our thing, and we'll just get along. So
Yeah.
I've never investigated my house, but yeah. So from there, we just our first place we went was Trans Allegheny, um,
Yeah.
a sane
I want to
asylum.
I want to take a moment. Well, I want to get back to that, but I want to take a moment and just
Sure.
let everybody know. Welcome, Chad. We're so glad you had a chance to make it. You popped in.
Yay!
Um,
Hello.
Hi, I'm in
it's nice being
Irons.
without you, Chad.
I'm in Irons, and I went and I raced here from the job site that was an hour and a half away, and then tried to get on this guy's Wi-Fi, and it's not letting me. And happened to see Starlink that has 1 to 2 bars right now, and so
Hey,
Elon
made it
Musk
happen.
let me on. Yep.
That is so cool. You
Yay!
made it happen. I love it. I'm glad you're here. Yeah, it wouldn't have been any same without you. I would have been, you know, stumbling over my words without my co-host. He's my go-to. We
Hi,
love having him
Chad.
on.
Hi, Rachel.
um, so I do want to ask, I do want to say, I understand why you kind of took that break um, between like raising, investigating, or at least didn't start investigating until after you're done raising your kids. Because I
Right.
didn't do that. I started investigating prior to having kids, and then I had my kids basically got a certain age, and then I started investigating again. And it adds a whole other layer of difficulty to raising children and to investigating.
Mhm.
because there's a lot more precautions you need to take going into an investigation when you also have children at home. And then, at home, there's a whole other layer of, teaching your children how to react to spirits, along with the normal, uh, you know, duties of raising them. So,
Yes.
I kind of wish I would have done that, but at the same time, people like you, me, and Chad, we kind of attract these things, so you can't really get
Yes.
away from it. So no matter what, you're gonna have to teach them about it anyway. So
Yeah.
in my own head, it was just like, well, this is something I'm gonna have to deal with anyways. It didn't help that I raised my kids in a very insanely haunted house. Sounds like
Yeah.
similar to what you kind of grew up in, and maybe what you're living in now.
Yes.
So, but I was curious. I want you to get on to your investigation that you were going to talk about. But do you still see things like you used to when you were younger?
Yes. I sure
Yeah,
do. Um,
yeah.
and it's really interesting when my because my daughter will be 27 in 3 days. Um, from the time that we've investigated, it's kind of like it's like she's kind of a mirror image of me. Not exactly, but they're always like, "Oh, she looks like you," but we're a lot alike, and it seems like when we're together, the gifts that we have become even more intensified. So
Mhm.
we've experienced, actually have seen angels. Um, there's a man that's like down my street. He stands there at the light post all the time. And actually, he was the
Wow.
gentleman that he passed away in the house that's right by that post, electric pole. But so, yeah, I do. They talk to
Wow.
me. Where I work, yes, there different places that I've worked. There have been spirits, and they'll talk to me. I've actually had to tell them, either tell me what you want or need, or you need to let me do my work, because they'll be like talking back and forth and talking back and forth. Um,
Yeah. And that
Also,
works too.
yeah,
Yeah,
it
that
does.
works. But I, I, I can't let you move on. You said
Okay.
you see angels. I have to tell me what it's like to see an angel.
It's amazing. It's, from my experience, and maybe other people don't experience the same thing as I do. Um, it's just their energy is just really bright, and it's the colors are kind of like, well, they are of the rainbow, but they're very, very intensified. Um,
Wow.
when we first moved into my house, my daughter was 12, and we were unpacking, and I was like, I don't want to cook, so let's go out to get something to eat. And it was so strange. We came around this corner where it was not, there weren't any lights, but we actually saw these two beautiful figures, that we could see this little tiny boy, and they had picked him up, and it looked like, I don't know if you ever, on a cartoon, how the legs go really fast.
Yeah.
That's how his legs were moving, and like neither one of us said anything about it. We just like, whoa. And they carried him across, this was a main street, and if somebody would have come around the corner, they would have hit him, and he probably wouldn't be here today.
What?
um,
Wow.
so we turned around, and we didn't talk about that part, and we called the police, helped the little boy. He had walked like several blocks to where we were at, and it was almost, that is the best experience I've ever had with angels, because you could even see the wings. I mean, I've never seen anything like that before. And I've seen other angels since then, but that experience was just wow. So
Wow.
we helped the little boy. The police came, they took care of him, and we went on our merry little way. And later that night, after we got our food and we started talking about the experience, and we both saw the exact same thing, and it still gives me
Wow.
goosebumps.
I
And
was
and
gonna say I got
yeah,
goosebumps right now.
so yeah, that was, yeah. So we've seen quite a few. It's an amazing thing. I'd love to catch on film, but you're
Yeah.
just so in awe. It just like your mouth drops open, and you're like, what was that? So, and I was like, am I
Yeah.
drunk? Or, yeah. But no, of course not. But yeah, it was phenomenal. It was a wonderful experience every time. So I've seen him. Probably about 8 to 10 times. I've
Wow.
encountered angels.
You're
Yeah.
so lucky. That's so
But
lucky.
But yeah, I try to be very open. Um, I mean, one more thing about my house, my bedroom, there's a portal in my closet. And when we first moved in, I didn't know what was going on. I know that I would wake up and there I could see images, like I thought, am I dreaming? But they were actually spirits standing there watching me. And at first, I always wanted to close the door. Um, and I kind of cut it off because, my daughter was younger. But now, um, I leave the door open because they tell me, you better
Yeah,
leave that door open. We need that open so we can go from place to place. And they don't stay here. They don't live here. We just have the three. Um, but yeah, so I mean, they'll even wake me up talking, and I'm like, there's been times when I've been like, I have got to get some sleep. So that's kind of interesting too. And now I just kind of embrace it. I tell them, leave me alone. You do your thing. You go your way, and let me get some sleep. So, but yeah,
that's funny.
if I shut
Yeah.
it, they demand that I open it. So I was like, okay,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow. Okay, so a lot of people say, I've heard numerous people say you can't close a portal, you can't close a portal.
Mhm.
Um, and personally, I've never been able to close one. I've been able to almost shift the type of energy that the portal's been putting off rather than actually closing it. So you're able to just close the portal, open it up, close the portal, open it up. So is how do you do that? Or is this just a mental thing where you just kind of take charge of your dimension or
Yeah, I mean, honestly, now that I'm embracing my gifts more and because I understand them, I'm an empath as well. So energy just boom, 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 boom all the time ever since I was a child. Um, I just tell them, you know, you're not, I will leave the door open because they'll demand me to leave that door open. And I'm like, okay, I want to shut it because I don't want to be bothered. But and it's not a mean way. It seems like all the spirits that come in and out through that through the portal, they're not angry. They're not dark energy. They're not mad or want to try to do something mean to me. But I let them know I'm very strong with that. I mean, I tell them, look, I'm not having any shenanigans. I do have a lot of stones in my room protect me, and I just tell them I'll leave it open as long as you are nice. But the first time that you start acting up, forget it. I
yeah.
will shut the door and we're done. So it has. I mean, honestly, it's worked out really well. They like I said, every now and then they'll wake me up, and it's not that they're doing anything to me. It's like they're standing there. I feel like it's almost like they're waiting for the bus. And but a few times I've had to tell them, "Hey, you're too loud. You wake me up." They'll even I have four dogs. They'll start barking, and I know that means that some of them are coming through and going to wherever they're going. So I feel like I'm the subway. So,
Yeah.
yeah, they've never bothered me, and I don't know if they've told other spirits, "Hey, we got to be nice," or she'll shut it off forever. But it's kind of fun now. I don't let it bother me, but I also don't put up with any very negative energy. That is
Yeah.
not allowed.
Yeah.
That's not allowed. Yeah.
So, back when I was doing residentials, I don't do residentials as much as I used to, unless
Mhm.
there is a young child involved that is at risk or something like that, or an elderly person. But when I was doing residentials, it was very hard. A lot of it is psychology, and it was very hard for me to get to teach the people who live there that we have control over the here, now, our domain. And as
I
long as we
agree.
set our rules and we stick to them, they have to listen. And a lot of people give it so much power that they lose control.
Yes, I
And
agree.
it's very hard to teach them that.
Mhm.
So, kind of like what you were saying. Now, I know you were going to talk about your first one, but have you ever done residentials though? Have you ever taken
I
resident
haven't,
space?
but I'd like to get into it. I really would. My gifts have kind of, I guess, enhanced or it kind of makes my stomach turn a little bit, not in a bad way, but I have realized um, I've actually can. I don't know. I'm so humble about talking about this, but I have realized that I'm able to give messages to people. I didn't know I had that gift. Um, Being an empath, I do take on everybody's energy. You know, there was recently one house that we investigated in. Um, we went back a second time at we did a creepy crawl in Hinton, West Virginia, and the house. This house is gorgeous. I love this house. I wish I could transport it here. I mean, it's just, and the person that owns it has decorated it. You know, he is a very eclectic person. It is a private resident, residence, and he's just so open to us coming in. And I was really worried because we had investigated a few times. I'm thinking, what if these spirits are bored and they don't want to, say hello? But that night, my daughter was with me, and I had another member from the group, and it was. I said it's kind of like the power of three. I mean, we gave so many messages to people, um, comforting them. Their relatives that had passed came through. So this is starting to happen when I go to investigate. I did an investigation last week, and I gave a gentleman a message, and he got teared up. Wonderful guy. It was much needed. I don't know where it comes from. I'm not sure where it's going to go, but residentials, I would love to do that. I mean, I think one thing about doing investigations, it is not what it's like in the movies. And you're right. I feel that we have control over what we bring to us ourselves. I've had spirits they've been very nasty to me. I had one that kind of consumed me, and I stepped outside to reground myself. And when I went back, I said, you will not do this to me again. You are not nice. You're hateful, and do not do this to me or anyone else. So I own what I do, and I don't want that negative energy to envelop me or anyone else around me. So I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm not sure where my gifts are going to go from here, but I would love to do residentials, most definitely, especially
Yeah.
kids,
Yeah.
helping
I think
kids.
with your gifts, you really could do a lot of good for a lot of people. Um, I think that that would be something that would be awesome for you to branch out in with your, because a lot of investigators, they don't have those sort of gifts. They just go out there with their tools and equipment and research and try to get evidence. You, however, can dig a little deeper and get more answers than I think
Yeah,
majority of the investigators out there. I know you're humble about it, but I'll say
yeah,
it. So,
I do. I try to be. So,
yeah.
yeah.
So what kind of tools do you use? I mean, I know a lot of it is your gifts, but do you use any kind of electronic tools or
I do. I mean,
homemade tools?
there's some apps. I have a friend, and I wrote her. I'm a very visual person, and I think that's sometimes one of the reasons why I don't do a lot of recording, because I'm so um, engulfed in what spirits can say, what they want to say, or what their message is, or why they want to talk to me. But I use dowsing rods. Do not work for me. I've tried them. They do, but they don't. EMF detectors. I love the cat balls. I want to get one of those dead bells. I think those are so cool. um, use some apps on my phone. I had the one where the pictures will come through when you have it on the app.
Yeah.
And I'm from Fairmont, West Virginia, and there was a really bad, the worst mining accident. It happened in, I think, 1907. I think it was December 6th, 1907. And so I went with a group from up there and to investigate. And every picture that came through on my phone was right on the money. It showed a woman in a church. There were candles, and she was praying. It showed the next picture was skulls, because a lot of those miners are still in there. They will never be able to get them out of these mines. So there's a lot of energy, and
Yeah.
it was so sad and so surreal, and it just broke my heart. Um, a lot of times spirits will call to me, And so when they called to me, I go, I was with the other people that I was investigating with in a field where the horses would graze, the ones that they would use in the coal mines. And you can't even really get to the mines now, but they kept calling me to come there, to come to close to the mine. And I could look up on the hillside and I could see him. I could see the miners standing there. And I told him,
Wow.
I said, I'm so sorry. And I started crying. I'm getting upset now, but it was probably the most emotional investigation that I ever did. And uh, one of the miners had lived, there was a building there, and he wanted to show me his house. That was his house. And he still lived there. But it was very, very humbling and just so sad because there were women in that community in Monongah, West Virginia. They went every day and took out pails of coal from that coal mine to try to find their husbands or their
Oh
sons.
my gosh.
Yeah, and they were immigrants. A lot of them came from Italy and other places as well, and a lot of them didn't speak English, and they weren't treated well after their husbands passed. I mean, after they were, there was an explosion and they died in the mines. I want to go
Wow.
back and investigate because that they still call to me. Some places do that. At Trans
Yeah.
Allegheny, the children call to me all the time. So when it gets really intense, I try to go back to that place and to see what they want and how can I help them. So yeah.
That's amazing. I love the emotion and passion you have for what you do.
Yeah.
And I like that you're there to listen to them. So I can understand why, evidence is not on the forefront of your mind for sure.
But I
Um,
did. But I do have a friend that does a lot of filming, and I asked them. I said, "Well, what?" I said, "Apparently, I need to get a camera." So I actually ordered my first camera, and with their help, and so I'm going to do well. Actually, my daughter and I, her birthday is Sunday, and mine is the 28th of this month. That's why I love October. We are next weekend. We're going to Salem, Massachusetts. So I'm going to take that camera and we are going to be filming. So at their,
yes,
yeah. So I'm excited to
that's
see
that's
what
awesome.
happens because that's like our voice recorder. We use that too. And we were talking about it the other day. I said, why didn't I film you? Because she was using dowsing rods and I was talking, asking questions. And I said, why didn't we film this? But, we're more about what can we do to help these spirits that are still here.
Mm.
Um, and sometimes it doesn't work. There at Trans Allegheny, there was the geriatric ward. I did a whole show. My grandparents raised me, and I did a whole show. All the your grand old flag, America the Beautiful. I mean, I was dancing, marching, and pretending like I was waving a flag, and I didn't have one spirit come through there. I said, "Well, this is
Oh
disappointing."
wow.
So, I mean, things happen, but usually, just because of being an empath, yeah, they're always around. They're always around. But sometimes I have to tell them, just leave me alone right now.
Yeah, yeah, that's totally understandable because you got your normal life too. You got your investigative life, you got your regular life.
Yeah.
Um, but I think Chad, did you have any questions? Because I wanted her to tell us about her first investigation and let us know how that went. But I don't want to.
Yeah. So, in any of your research and your investigations, has anything ever attached to you and like came home with you?
Well, that's interesting. I always carry a tiger eye or a tiger's eye, or I have a tiger's eye ring for protection. Um, and I say a little prayer, and I don't know. I went to one investigation, not to, because I tell them, you can't go home with me. You can hang out with me here, but you may not go home with me. But one of my last investigations, um, there's something with me now. Now, there's always something with me. I have three ladies with me, and it's my granny and my stepmom and another lady that was like a mom to me. So they're always with me, always. No, they go on my investigations to protect me. I'll walk in the house, I'll smell their perfume, but and that's a good thing. I mean, those are good attachments. But I've talked to several, members of my group. I think I need a cleansing because something has attached to me. I don't know what it is. But I do have another, and I think my three ladies protect me from this. I was a trauma kid, and my bio mom did not raise me. And a medium told me that she's hanging on to my leg for dear life and won't let me go. And I told her, I said, "You tell her to leave me alone. I want her off my leg." But she's sometimes I think she's still with me. I really do. But this other thing, I can see they'll go by me all the time. I'll be sitting there, I'll be crafting, I'll be reading, I'll be on my computer, not only here at my house, but other places too. So, um, my group, Appalachian Ghost Tours, we're kind of busy right now because it's the ghosty season. But one of the members is going to help me figure out what this is. It's not mean, it's not hateful, but you need to go back. You need to go back. You can't live here. I already have several ghosts, and I don't need any more. But
So when
yeah,
you see it, is it like shadow form or like mist
shadow.
form? Yeah. I
It's a
see
dark
that's a
shadow.
lot of what I
Mhm.
see. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's pretty much all I see. I've probably one really good time I saw a full body
mhm.
apparition. You could tell it was a person.
Yeah,
They weren't flesh colored though. They still had a gray hue, but yeah, all the other times I just see shadows floating
yeah,
around all the time, kind of shaping in and out, you know.
yeah.
Interesting. So
I think that's cool.
I'll be interested to hear what it is. You'll have to keep us updated.
Well, and it's funny that you say that. When I was about 10 years old, back in the day, children couldn't go into hospital rooms. You had to wait in the waiting room. And back then people could smoke. So I'm kind of telling you how old I am. Um, but not that I care. Age is just a number. But anyway, my dad, his friend had been in an accident, and I loved his friend. I had a huge crush on him at age 10. So of course I had to go. And I was allowed to stand at the door and wave to him, but my dad says you go in the lounge. And of course there were ashtrays everywhere. And I'm sitting there, and this guy walks in like this blue, um, like a suit from the 50s or 60s. And I tell you who he reminded me of was Lyle Lovett, a country singer, which I'm not into country,
Mhm.
but that's what it looked like. And it was a full body. I thought he maybe, I didn't know, but his energy was really, it consumed me. And it was really, um, it was I had got a very uneasy feeling. And here I am 10 years old, and he walks in. I mean, he had on these black shoes, so I saw all of him. His hair was like Lyle Lovett, and he said, "Do you have a cigarette?" And I'm 10 years old, and I
Hmm.
just look at him, and he said, "Do you have a cigarette?" He's kind of talking like that. I was like, I shook my head because he really scared me. And then he started going, looking through the ashtrays for a cigarette. And I got up, and right where that waiting room was, the first room was where my dad was. And I peeked around, and my dad says, "I'll be right there." And I did not go back to that lounge. I stood right outside the door. Well, the only way for this man to get out of the lounge was to go by me. But when I look back after I made sure my dad knew I was standing outside that door, he was gone. He was
Wow.
gone. So then I looked again around the corner at my dad, and I'm like, it's, I need to go. So, and he didn't know what I was talking about. I didn't know what it was. So, yeah, that was my first full apparition, ghosty, I guess, but apparition. But I've never seen anything like that to any degree since then. I haven't, but usually they
Yeah.
just kind of
It's
float around or the mist, but mainly the black, the black form,
yeah.
the
Yeah.
outline of a person. Yeah,
Yeah, I think full body apparitions are pretty rare. Typically, they're very shadow. Only twice, a few times have I seen the misty sort of stuff. One really good
nice.
time.
Yeah,
But yeah, that's interesting. It sounds very similar to kind of my experiences.
yeah.
Um, So I was curious. You were going to tell us before I cut you off. We kind
Oh,
of
you're
went on
fine.
a different tangent.
I know
About your
I
first
talk a lot. I
investigation.
apologize. My first
No, I
investigation.
love it. I love it.
So my first investigation was with my daughter. I think she was 16. I'm almost positive. And it was at Trans Allegheny. I always called it Weston because the part of West Virginia, I live in Charleston, West Virginia now, but I'm originally from Fairmont. And we called it Weston. I think it was called Weston something hospital back in the day. And actually, my granny went there with her ladies' class from church when my dad and his sisters were young, and of course they had to go too. And of course, and they took cookies and fruit and candy, and they had a devotion and sang hymnals, and um, they did not like going. My dad said I never liked going, but he was made to go. So when we moved in with my granny, she asked would I go, and I'm like no, because hearing the stories, it just gave me a really uneasy feeling. So years later, after I had my daughter, here we go. Um, my daughter and I, for her birthday, she's like, let's go to Trans Allegheny. Let's go to Weston. I said, okay. So we went on a tour, and it was really interesting. She, in one of the rooms, one of the nurses' rooms, she actually saw a nurse put the medicine up in the cabinet, taking it down to give to the patients. We went to the ward where they perform lobotomies. I got physically ill, and it was so sad. I mean, that makes me real emotional too.
Yeah.
I could hear people crying, moaning. She could see them, and I could feel them. I could feel their pain. We went to one section where, because there were children there, they were either dropped off, or if somebody was in the facility, and if they had a child, usually the child stayed there with them. They housed a lot of tuberculosis patients as well. I could hear children talking to me, and I think it might be because of my profession, but
Yeah.
I could hear them. They would talk to me and sing to me. Um, I felt like one of them was holding my hand, and I don't remember any names coming through because there was just so much going on around me. But even when I left, I could still, when I came an hour and a half away, I could still hearing them. They'd cry, the children, and they would tell me, "Please come back, please come back." So we've went almost every year. It's been about 2 years since I've been, just because of this or that, and it's quieted down. But I'm always drawn to that place because when I go visit my father, I'll stop there a lot of times and just look up the windows and talk to him, because it just makes me so sad. It makes me so sad that they had to live that life. Um, we were on this one floor, the alcoholic floor. And as you go through the door, the end of where this floor is, you can look down and see the ballroom. And my father told me that's where we had all the devotions when we had to go there as a kid. And it's beautiful. They've renovated it. But as I'm the last one out, something grabbed my leg, and they're like, "Please don't go. I don't want you to go." And I said, "I have to go. Let go of my leg." I mean, I couldn't move. I could not move from my spot. And I even grabbed a hold of the door. I said, "Please let me go." They're like, "No." They kept telling me, "Please don't go. Please don't go." And I finally said, "I'll come back to visit. I can't stay. I got to go. Got to keep going on this tour." And they finally let go. Then there's Frank and Larry there. They're always standing by me. My daughter can see them standing by, and I can feel them. They were jokesters. And so they just like to laugh at me. I don't know why, but I guess they were funny guys. And so I don't mind.
Yeah.
I don't mind that at all. We leave them cigarettes and playing cards and those kind of things. But I do have a ghost that hates me. I do have a ghost that hates me, and it makes me
Tell us
mad.
about that. Yeah. And where did you get him from?
So my daughter and I, we often visit the Anchorage.
Huh.
Hidden Marietta actually do a lot, put on tours, private tours. We actually got to investigate with Paranormal Quest with Ryan and Dave. Awesome guys. They're phenomenal, amazing, down to earth. And Viva, she's great too, one of the hostesses. But so anyway, we were kind of in the smoking room by the bathroom, and this spirit came through. His name's Walter. A lot of people have met Walter, talked to Walter, and he's a really funny guy. And they said that in his, it went from a private residence to a nursing home,
Mhm.
which was over, I mean, it was packed to the gills. And so Walter, they said when he was alive, he was funny, told jokes. Well, he immediately fell in love with my daughter, fell in love with her. And so, yeah, so we were talking to him, or she was, but he wouldn't talk to me. So I went to the restroom, came back out, and he told her, he said, "I hate her. I don't want her here." I haven't even done anything, Walter. And everybody has an amazing time with the spirit, but for whatever reason, he does not like me. And not,
Wow.
yeah, I don't know. And I mean, I don't know. And not too long, my daughter, we were talking, and she says, "Mom, there's this spirit that pops in and out of my car, pops in and out of like they'll pop. She's at work, and we finally realized that it's probably Walter, because we were at an event with Appalachian Ghost Tours at Coalfield Manor, which it was a department store, and then the last thing it was a funeral home. And we're on the second floor having an investigation, and we had a public investigation with others, and well, something came through the spirit box. I'm from Ohio, and I know you very well. And she and I started laughing. So she asked him, she said, "Walter, is that you?" And he said, "Yes." But he's in love with her. He's in love with her. And I said, "Hey, Walter," I said, "Do you still hate me?" And he said, "Yes, I hate you." So I'm like,
Goodness.
why? Why? I've never done anything to him. I don't know why. I mean, we've both tried to ask him, and he wants nothing to do with me. Nothing. He will
That's
not talk to
so
me. Yeah.
wild. You
I
know
said,
what? That happens also in even investigations that happens. And so a lot of times it helps when you have a group of people rather than
yeah,
just one or two, because you
yeah,
can send in a different variety of people to see what different reactions you can
yeah.
get.
Oh, they laughed.
This
They
is
thought it was
weird.
hilarious. And I said, "This isn't funny at all, Walter." But yeah, I mean, he's not mean to me, but he just wants nothing to do with me. So
Wow.
yeah, he wants my daughter all to himself. So yeah, but
That's
it's
funny.
kind of, I think it's funny too. But yeah,
Yeah.
I was like, well, I thought I was a nice person, but apparently I'm not. So yeah, that's,
We do
we,
have a few videos
okay.
that you shared with me that you could share. So um, we'll kind of play them, and
Okay.
then you can kind of tell us about it, and then we'll play it again.
Okay.
So here goes the first one.
Yeah,
That one's, you can hear the sound. You can hear
yeah.
like the bang.
Yeah. If you look at that video, there's all the rows of the benches, but if you look to the corner where the walls come together, there's actually a Native American there's a Native American standing there. Um, others may not see it, but we did. Um, he was he was really a very, I can't explain. I mean, I'm getting goosebumps, but he was such a wonderful spirit. And he enjoyed us. Actually, that was at the Blennerhassett Island Museum, not on the island, but there in Parkersburg, West Virginia. And he just kind of went from place to place, because down there in the basement, there's a lot of Native American artifacts. And
Mm.
so we talked to him quite a long time. But he was great. I mean, he was very nice. There was another dark energy that was at the front of that room that did not want us there, and kind of just bounced around us. But he was in the corner, and he tried to share as much as he could. Um, he kept saying that this is where I live, this is my land, this is my place. But he wasn't angry. He was very 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 calm, and you almost feel like I need a hug from you because he was so gentle. His spirit was so gentle.
Wow. So did
Yeah.
you guys catch quite a bit there at that location? I mean, as far as
But,
not catch, but rather experience.
oh my goodness, yes. Yes, everybody, actually we did that tour through Hidden Marietta as well. And it's quite interesting. If a lot of people come around, especially when my daughter and I are investigating, they hide. We quit doing public investigations in Weston because, oh, you always get that one in the group that, because people
Yeah.
leave candy, and they want to eat it or ha ha ha. But there, um, yes, I mean, they'd walk with us as we're looking at the artifacts.
Oh,
Um, but the dark energy, we couldn't figure out who it was or why they were so unsettled. It may have been another Native American that did not like that we were there looking at their artifacts, and
could be.
which were beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So,
Oh, yeah.
but
Native Americans don't typically like the to show off their artifacts, so I find that interesting. Yeah, you typically get there's always somebody in the group that antagonizes the ghosts, and that drives me crazy. I can't stand when they do that.
well, and we talk, tell them, we're here. We are here with positive energy, positive love. Um, we want to respect you. If you don't want us here, please tell us. We will not be offended because this is where you live. This, and if you don't want us here, we will leave. Um,
Right.
so we're very about that.
Yeah,
And some
absolutely.
people some people aren't. That's for sure. Yeah.
Unfortunately, yeah. I'll play it a couple more times just in case
Okay.
anybody missed it.
And you kind of can see there's a little, yeah. And there weren't any bugs down there, so but
That is
yeah, it was a
interesting,
neat,
yeah.
it was a neat experience for sure.
This one that I'm going to share next is really cool. It's kind of hard to see because you took the video of the video, but you can still see it. Hopefully, everybody's watching on a little bit larger screen, but I'll go ahead and play it now.
Okay. So that's actually at the Heyman House in Sutton, West Virginia. Love it. Another Victorian home. Oh, I'm thinking maybe I lived during that time period because I'm just so in love with that house as well. Um, we were watching that, and there on that second floor is kind of that sitting area, and we could see little. And we went up there to make sure they weren't bugs. I can't say that we debunked it. I can't say what it was, but the energy at the Heyman house, wow, wow. Um,
Yeah.
my daughter and I still haven't discussed what we investigated and what we found out, just because um, the respect that I have for Mrs. Haymond. It was very traumatizing for us, and it makes me very
Oh,
sad for her.
oh,
Um, a lot of things went on there. We learned some of the history, some of the things they did a lot of seances there, but she told us a lot, went into detail about how horrific it was for her.
oh,
And every room, I mean, every room I walked in upstairs was, even though the lights were on, the overhead lights, it was dark, very dark. The one thing I'll say, because they don't know where she's really buried, there's a gravestone, but some people say she's not there. The one thing I will say, she told us that, and told my daughter and I several times, that she's buried in the walls. So
oh,
yeah, but there's a dark energy in the basement. Actually, it's pretty much it's a cellar to me because there's outside doors to go down in it, but we went through the kitchen down to the basement, and there's one room it's not really finished, but it kind of is, and then the other area was more like mud, dirt, and I'm kind of a germaphobe, so I said, "Nope, I'm not going in there. I don't have the." I got on my Birkenstocks. Which why am I wearing Birkenstocks to a ghost investigation? I don't know, but anyway, I kept seeing him back and forth and back and forth. This dark energy. Now my daughter, I see him as a black form. She could see him more clearly.
Mm.
And I said, I don't like him. I do not like him. And he kept getting closer and closer to where the door frame was. And that is when we were doing an investigation with another, and I can't remember for whatever reason. I hate that's embarrassing. I can't remember their names. They're out of Morgantown, West Virginia. Great guys. We really enjoyed investigating with them. And so I said, he's over there. And I don't know who he is, but I said, I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. And he finally came to our side and he rushed at the investigator that was hosting. And then this dark energy came towards my face. And after that, I closed
Wow.
my eyes. I said, I can't stay here. I'm not staying here. I don't know what he's doing, but I'm not staying here. And it scared him too. It scared the other investigator as well. So, but I want to go
Wow.
back. I want to go back because
Yeah.
unfortunately there were three women in the group. They were very drunk. They were enjoying
Oh
themselves. So
no.
I don't know if they brought it with them. I don't
Yeah.
know. So I'd like to go back and see what that energy is. There's a lot
Yeah.
of energy there. A lot of energy. So
Yeah.
yeah, beautiful home.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. Yeah, that's neat. I'm gonna play it one more time just in case you may missed it. Yeah, I can definitely see it. You can
Yeah.
definitely see it.
I mean, we
So
tried to debunk it, but I don't know. I don't
yeah,
know.
well, it's
Yeah.
really hard to debunk or prove what
Mhm.
a an orb that you capture on video is because it could be spiritual, it could be numerous amounts of things, but the
Be
fact that
above.
the energy there was so strong
Oh, it
kind
is.
of solidifies that video as well.
Yeah.
Um, but Bob has a question.
Sure.
He asks, have you ever had an experience around an Indian mouth?
Yes. Yes. So there is an abandoned amusement park down in the southern part of the state near Princeton, Lake Shawnee. Um, and it started out that the Shawnee Indians, Native Americans, lived there for over 2,000 years, hunted the land, and then a family moved there, and the Shawnee actually killed two of their children and took the other one, and they actually burned the child at the stake. And so there is a tombstone there for the children. And so a lot of things happened too when it was an amusement park. Supposedly some children drowned and those kind of things. But there's actually a mound there. You can leave a gift for the Shawnee. And when we first got there, my daughter and I, we were on the little learning about the history, and they took us to the memorial for the Native Americans. And um, yes, thank you, Teresa. That's my girlfriend from America. I didn't mean to get a sidetrack, but yes, West Virginia Paranormal. But yes, Scott and JJ, they were phenomenal. So if you ever get to investigate with them too, amazing. I got to give her a shout out because has her own. I mean, she has the haunted West Virginia haunted history. Teresa, I know I didn't say that right, but she knows everything about everything. If it's haunted, the girl's going to know it. So, but
Well, Teresa,
yeah,
put it up there for us.
yeah,
Give a
yes,
comment, and
please,
we'll put it up
yes,
there so everybody can see
yes.
where to go.
But yeah, so when we were there at the memorial, we did leave. I left a little stone, and I don't remember what my daughter left. But anyway, we looked past the memorial. There's all these trees, and they were all standing there. And both she and I, that gives me goosebumps too. Um, they were watching us. They were watching us, and I said, "Do you think they're happy with us being here, or?" And we felt at peace with them. We felt like they were watching to make sure that we respected them, respected their land, and we didn't do anything to harm their land. But they were
Good.
beautiful.
Yes.
I mean, you could even see. I mean, you could see both of us could see, their clothing and everything. It was just amazing. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that
That's
was
neat.
nice. Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's neat. We have a lot of mounds out where I'm at. So there's
yeah.
a mound about
Ooh.
probably 10 minutes from me that I cannot wait to go visit at nighttime. I actually forgot that I went there and kind of scouted the area during the day this past week. And we're going to do a night thing. So it's going to be
There it
fun, but
is.
I hear it's very active. Okay. She says her
Oh,
blog and
yeah.
socials are just Teresa's Haunted History of the Tri-State. Yes. So if
Yes.
anyone's interested, check her out.
She's another one. She's very humble about what she does, but she is very knowledgeable, a very intelligent woman. And like I said, if you need some information, she is the one to contact because she's very good at what she does. Um,
Awesome.
yeah, she is. Are you talking about Serpent Mound? The Serpent
Well,
Mound
I
in
have
Ohio?
yes, I have Serpent Mound. It's a little bit further for me, but this is just a little mound. It actually doesn't get much attention. It only has one little ceramic plaque
Mhm.
that sits there and just talks about how they want to protect it and
Yeah.
try to keep it from being damaged. But other than that, it gets no attention,
Oh.
and it's just off the side of the road, and a lot of people don't even really go there, but
Mhm.
from what I hear, the locals around me say that it's very active, and if you go there at night, you're definitely going to experience something. So
Mm.
it'd be really cool to get in there and
Yes,
and get
definitely.
to
Yeah.
experience it. But I have been to Serpent Mountain quite a few times. It's a
Oh,
very energetic place.
yes, very much so.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've been there quite a few times. It's
yeah,
very, but I feel at peace there. I feel
yes,
at
yes.
peace. So, uh-oh, I forgot to plug my laptop in. So let me plug that in right now
Oh
before it's
yes,
good
we don't want
grief.
to lose you. If
All
we
right.
do, just jump back
Woo,
in. But
there we go.
yeah, if you should go up there when they're doing their star viewings, because that's like one
Oh,
of the very few times they'll let you in there at night unless you know somebody.
okay.
It's really cool because it's out kind of secluded out in the middle of nowhere, so there's not a lot of light pollution. It's a perfect place to go watch meteor showers when they have those going on. They open it up to the
Ooh.
public at night. So, and plus you can kind of sneak off and go do a little investigation.
Mhm. Well, I actually got to attend a summer solstice there. That was
Yes.
before
Yeah.
they stopped doing that. Amazing. Oh my goodness. I was
Yeah.
there, we camped there and everything. So it was phenomenal. It was a phenomenal experience. And that was actually
Yeah.
before I even started investigating. But oh yeah, they walk with you and
Yeah.
I'm not scared anymore, because I understand, I didn't know I was an empath. I didn't understand that at all. But now I do. I protect
Yes.
myself. Sometimes I have to take a time out. Um, I take a time out to re-energize myself. It's kind of like a cell phone. So,
Yeah.
but yeah. Hmm.
Very cool. So,
Oh, go
Pamela,
ahead.
yeah, Pamela has a question for you. I think you just saw it at the same time I was going to say it. So, she wants to know what's the most active place you've ever investigated or been with Appalachian Ghost Tours?
Well, actually, Pam is with Appalachian Ghost Tours. Her and several friends started the group back. Actually, it's been a year, September 13th, last year on Friday the 13th. And, they got their start. They've held a lot of public events, and that's how I got to know them. And then they asked me to join. I love it. And so, I consider all of the people at AGT wonderful people. They really are. We are a eclectic group. We're family, and we have a lot of fun when we investigate. We like to have a lot of fun. And so the most active place, well, I got to look, let me think. I wrote down everywhere I investigated at with them, and I'm trying to think. I would say the Poe House, honestly.
Oh,
That's there in Hinton, West Virginia, is probably the most active. There was places we didn't investigate. We didn't have time, but um, they're in the attic, they're in the basement. And like I said, this is a private home. They're in the parlor. There were some spirits coming in and out. It's kind of like a subway too, because that town, it was it was a like a boom town kind of thing, coal mines, trains, and there were a lot of hobos that came through there. People in the neighborhood would feed them and things like that. So there was a lot of different people in and out of Hinton, and we were in the sitting room, and they kept telling me, put your fingers under the door to the attic. They kept telling me that. Put
Ah,
your fingers under the. I said no. I told them no. I
that's a
said no.
terrifying thing.
Yeah. Well, so two of the members, they did it. Well, nothing happened. I said they don't want you to put your fingers under the door. They want me to. So I did not. I told them no. I'm not doing that because no, I'm not. But oh my goodness, yes, that house has energy everywhere, and that was actually a place where we gave a lot of messages.
Oh,
It took me about 4 days to recoup from that, and
wow.
but it's like I said, it's a private home, but we helped a lot of people, and so
Good.
I had to process that. Is this where I'm supposed to go with my gift? Because I like I said, I'm a very humble person. I don't want to ever give anybody a message that, you know, is not what they're supposed to get. I take it very seriously. And so that's why I'm still processing it, because if that's what I'm meant to do, then I'll do it. But I don't want to mislead anybody either. So,
Oh, that's
yeah.
wonderful.
Mhm.
It's funny you mentioned the Poe House,
Mhm.
because one of our previous guests, I'm almost
Mhm.
positive, his name was Michael Laciana. He's
Okay.
been to the Poe House, and that was one of the ones that he spoke
Ah,
about was being very interactive with him. So that's interesting.
yes.
And you
Yeah.
also mentioned took you 4 days to recoup from that house. Now, a lot of people that don't investigate don't realize when you investigate a very energetically strong building,
Yes.
you get what we call in my circle a paranormal hangover, where
Ah,
it
yes.
literally takes you at least a day or two to
Yeah.
recover and recoup because you just feel so drained.
Yep. And I think, being an empath as well, I think it even adds on to it even more.
Mhm.
Um,
Now,
I
now,
don't just,
Rachel,
yeah,
do you think that a lot of that is they're using your energy for them? That you
yes.
think that's why you get
Oh,
drained because
yeah.
they need that energy?
Yes, I absolutely do. Because interesting that you say that, because when I get tired, they get tired.
Mm.
And they're not as strong. Um, I've even had spirits, Blennerhassett Island. I've had spirits. In fact, the lady of the Mrs. Blennerhassett there, that's not her name, but anyway, she told me, tell them it's time. I'm tired. I need them to leave my house. So, but
Wow.
yes, yeah, it does. They do use my energy, and I allow it. I do allow it, but not. There was a time at the Graham house. Oh, there was a Native American attack there on the family, and I don't know if it's a Native American, which I don't feel it is, but it may be. Um, but they actually, like I said, they engulfed me, and I started getting really mean and really hateful. And my daughter was like, she was there with me, and she said, "Go outside." And so I actually went outside. I love nature, and it does ground me. And so I went outside, took my Birkenstocks off. I need to quit wearing those on investigations, but um, I can't help it. Um, and I took my shoes off. I put my hands to the grass, and in fact, one of the members, as I was walking by them, they said something to me. I didn't. They told me later, "Did you not hear me?" Because they actually came outside and they said, "Are you okay?" And I said, "No, I'm not." Um, yeah, and so once I calmed down and did a little prayer, I went back in. I went back into that room, and I told that spirit, I said, "You are not allowed to do that to me or to anyone else that comes into this room." So I'm very firm. The ones that get a little
Yeah.
nasty, I'm very firm about that, because that's not allowed. Um, So yeah, they kind of chill out after that when I tell them no. So
Yeah.
uh, yeah,
I've seen that happen where, you can offer to give them your energy, and then
yeah.
sometimes it'll have the reverse effect and they're just feeding you their energy, and it can change your mood and stuff like that, kind of like
Hmm.
what you experienced. So kind
Hmm.
of the reverse effect.
Yeah. And by the way,
Silence
yeah,
says,
but yeah, I got a little nervous, I guess. But it was Mrs. Blennerhassett. She would tell me, "Please tell him to go. I'm tired." So I wanted to make that correction
oh yeah.
there
Yeah.
at
Silence
Blennerhassett
says
Island.
the
Yeah.
Poe House tested us to the extreme, made me feel
Yes.
hungover for about 3 days.
Yes, she was actually, and now since she mentioned that, that night it was her and my daughter Era. I guess I should say her name, Era, and myself, and we had such a powerful investigation. Like I said, I was worried. I thought, oh, these ghosts are probably tired of us coming here, and you know, people were allowed to go to, like, there was 5 different places there in Hinton, and I thought, oh, they may not uh, say anything or do anything. I was a little worried. I was worried because, when the public comes to investigate, you want to make sure that spirits come around,
Yeah.
But we, all 3 of us, have really amazing gifts. And I think all of us working together, that's why so many messages came through that evening. But of course, and it was really funny because the basement ghost, I feel like, I don't know if you've ever watched that show Ghost, which I love.
Yeah.
um, they have basement ghosts. And I said, I felt like they were like that because they kept interrupting when we were giving messages. We want to talk. We want to talk. Can you talk? And I tell them, no, we can't. This is not for you right now. This is not for you. So I try to have a good relationship with spirits. I think my group does as well. Um, we have a good time. We even have refreshments when we do our public events.
Oh,
Um,
how cool.
a lot of our events are down in the southern part of the state, which is phenomenal and amazing. We all work really well together. Um, I have a great time with them. I found, like I said, my Era and I started investigating, and we called each other, real cheesy, the 3 Gs, which
Ah,
we call each other Gina, because when she was a kid in the store, if everybody, somebody that would say mom, 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 I tuned it out because it got annoying. So that's how we talk to each other. She calls me Gina, I call her Gina. So I said, hey, our ghost group could be Gina Ghost Group, the 3 Gs.
that's
Well,
cool.
we were the only 2 members, but now we're
Yeah,
with Appalachian Ghost Tours, and we have a lot of fun. We do. We really
that's
have a lot of
cool. My
fun.
initials are
Mhm.
GGG, so
Oh,
I
how
am
funny!
3G, just
Yeah,
me.
that's
So where can
funny.
people go? Where can people go to kind of keep an eye on when you're doing these
Sure.
public ghost tours?
So we're on Facebook, Appalachian Ghost Tours, of course. We're on TikTok, Instagram. I think I've covered it all. I think, yeah.
Okay.
Um, I actually sent you the last little. I think it was yesterday. I sent you a picture from actually our
Oh,
last investigation. It was when, I don't know if you received it or not. It was when we
is
were.
it this
Oh,
one? No.
no, that's from the Hinton. That was from the creepy call in Hinton. That's my new boyfriend. That's my new
Uh,
boyfriend. So
very nice. Very nice.
yeah, yeah, yeah. He doesn't eat much, so, but and he's a doctor, you can tell.
Ah,
It was
yes.
We were at the Raleigh Playhouse and Theater in Beckley, West Virginia, and I had stepped out of the room, and there were other people, other members of our group with the public, and as I'm getting to the door, it came through, the spirit box lady. And so I was like, yeah, it's me. I said, I'm back. Here I am. So we try to make it fun too. We don't want anybody to be scared. I've talked to several people, especially younger people. Don't be afraid. It's not like the movies. Um, the coolest thing, I have to tell this, at our creepy crawl in Hinton, we had a young man. I think he was 9 or 10, and he is on our what pictures of him on our website. His parents embraced what he wants to do with paranormal investigating.
Oh, cool.
And they embrace that. They take him to different events, which they check it out first to make sure that Um, it's not going to be too adult or anything like that or too scary. But he is so happy, and he actually won. We had a drawing for equipment, and he won that equipment. And I was
Oh,
like,
how cool.
yes, yeah. And so we are seeing a few younger kids, and I like to talk to them and tell them don't be nervous, only do what you feel comfortable with. And I wish I would have, my granny had gifts as well. She saw spirits, she talked to spirits, but her being such a strong Christian, that wasn't allowed.
Yeah.
When I was older, she told me a little bit about her gifts, but she kept it to herself because, oh, that was a no no. You're a witch kind of thing, whatever. But
Yes. Yeah.
I wish I would have had somebody to talk to that I could have embraced. Um, find what I want to tell people is find those people that you can build that relationship with and talk to them with, because yeah, people there has been in the past people think I'm a nut, but
Yeah.
I have met
It happens.
so many people that are into paranormal investigations or Bigfoot or aliens or whatever, all that stuff since I was a kid, I was all about. But I've met some of the nicest, most down to earth, coolest people since I have been like, I'm going to live my life. And if you don't like it or think I'm a nut, too bad. But, find,
Absolutely.
you know, and I told his parents, I said, you guys are amazing. This is awesome that you allow him to embrace this. So, yeah, find your people. They're out there.
That is,
They are definitely out
yeah,
there.
that is very cool.
Yeah.
And after meeting you, I think that Appalachian Ghost Tours is a great place for if
Oh,
parents are
yes.
interested in getting their kids, involved or letting them experience something that you guys would be great to do it with because,
Yeah.
the energy that you put out and your intentions that you have walking into a place are typically what you get in return.
Yep.
So you
I
guys
agree.
just you seem to have just such a great energy and your intentions are good. So
Yes.
I think that puts that out there. So be a great place for kids.
Yes,
I
it
did
is.
want to
It
move
is.
on to
Sure.
I saved this last one because the other two are great, but there's some about EVPs I just love. And you did
Okay.
send in an EVP and it's a really good one. So I want to make sure we get to listen to it.
Okay.
And I'm gonna go ahead and play it now.
No. Henry, are you friendly? No. Henry, are you friendly?
That was actually at the Heyman house. That was down in the
Oh,
basement. Hmm. Yeah, whatever's down there, nope, he's not a happy spirit at all.
he
So,
did
yeah,
not sound happy. Yeah.
and like I said, then he charged us, and I'm like, "Nope, I'm done."
Oh
Um,
wow.
so,
Wow.
um, this is funny. I've actually had an encounter with a demon. Um,
Ah, I was
I
gonna
like you
ask you
said,
about that. Yeah.
yeah, I'm all about positivity. I'm all about, like you said, what you put in, you get out, you get in return.
Hmm.
I try to be very positive person, and I want our public to have fun and not be afraid, because it's definitely not like the movies. It really isn't. But this was a time in my life. I think I was 18, 19, and I was dating an older guy and wanted to impress him. Back in the day, he wanted to be a rock star. He had the long hair. So, like I said, I'm dating myself again. And he said, "You want to become devil worshippers with my friends?" I'm so naive. I'm like, sure, let's do it. I dyed my hair black. I wore black makeup. I, had the dark matte, lipstick, and wore goth clothes. And the first time my granny saw me, I thought she was going to faint because she didn't even know who I was. So we went with his friends and had a ceremony. I didn't even know what it was about. I was like, oh, okay. And they were doing all this devil worshiping stuff and turn the crosses upside down on the candles and chanting and all that. And I like I said, I didn't know what was going on, but I wanted to impress this guy. I mean, he's going to be a rock star, and um, he never did become one, and now he's bald. Even though, because like I said, back in the day, he loved his hair. And so that night, I went home and I got in bed, and I look up in the corner of my room, and there it was. I thought, oh, I looked and I thought, I blinked my eyes. I wasn't drunk. I promise you that I was not, or even, smoking a little wacky weed or whatever, because people think things like that. And I looked again and there it was. And scared the living beep, beep, beep out of me. And it was just little, and it had these very, the eyes kept changing. It would go black, red, black, red. It was kind of like a crimson. Well, it started crawling down the wall. And I said, oh no, this is not good. And my covers, I wasn't asleep either. The covers started coming up because I didn't have them on, and they started choking me, and it kept
Oh my
coming down,
gosh.
down, down. And I started praying. I said, "Dear God, if you get this out of here, please let it leave me alone. I will never, ever go do a ceremony again." I mean, I was praying hard and fast because I was scared, and I
Wow.
kept trying to scream for my granny.
Mhm.
Nothing would come out. So,
Oh,
I just kept praying, and finally
Mhm.
it stopped. It disappeared. The covers went like had no covers on at all. And after that, yeah, there was no more devil worshiping for me, and I broke up with the boyfriend. So
yes.
I tell people, you don't want to mess with that. You don't want to mess with that. Do not mess with that. So after that, I don't. If I think an area somewhere, not that I think that there's demons there, um, but if it feels so dark, I'm like, nope, I'm not going in that room. I'm not going in that basement. I'm not having it.
Mhm.
So yeah, um,
Oh,
yeah, that was pretty
wow.
scary. And I
That
haven't told
that
it.
is scary.
I didn't tell that for decades because
Uh,
people are going to look at you like, what's wrong with you? But if I can protect somebody or prevent somebody from something happening to them,
Mhm.
honestly, everywhere I've investigated, I've never come across a demon. Nope, no.
yeah.
There's yeah.
It's very, very rare. Honestly, the demons that I've been verified, guarantee are demons. There's only been one at one location I ever visited outside of my own home, kind of
Mhm.
similar to you, getting to the darker side of things as a
Yeah.
teenager. Well, I brought something in, and
Mm.
unfortunately, I ended up living in that house for the next 15 years because I
Oh
raised
my
my own
gosh.
kids in that house. Yeah, so it's like
Was
I never
that
got away from it.
traumatizing for
It
you and your
it
family?
was, it was.
Mm.
Yeah, well, I moved out and then ended up going back and, yeah, that's how I learned how to kind of, fix those sort of situations,
Mhm. Yeah.
because I had to do it for my own children. So,
Right.
it was
Right.
Yes.
scary, it was scary.
Yeah.
They still remember some of the experiences, and, I mean, even my daughter who is now 19, and she was 3 at the time when she was experiencing stuff, she still remembers it.
Oh,
It was that
yeah.
traumatizing.
Does
Yeah.
she still feel traumatized, or is she okay with it now?
It's kind of funny, you know how when you experience trauma when you're young, your
Mhm.
mind tries to make sense of it as you grow.
That's true.
And she says now she's like, I don't know if that really happened. I don't know if I was dreaming, but I remember it so vividly, and I
Yeah.
remember the pain. And I was like, girl, I said, your
God love
brain's
her.
just trying to figure out the trauma.
Right.
I saw the marks on you. It really happened. Um,
Mm.
so yeah, she was bit, she was scratched, she
Oh
was
my
I
gosh.
mean, we had things thrown at us. My son was pulled out almost out of his bed. I mean, there was just all kinds of stuff we went through. It was terrifying, but you know, I was a single mom, and as a single mom, you can't just up and
Yep.
move. So
No.
you just got to
No.
learn how to fix it.
Yeah.
But he
Well, that's
did.
why it's funny because we don't talk about our OGs. No, we'll text or we'll wait till we get out of the house and talk about them.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
I do have members of my group. They're awesome, and they live in haunted houses too, and they do investigating. But I'm not there yet. I just because my daughter had moved out and she was adulting and she could move back in. If I'm here alone, I don't want, I know you're there. You do your thing, I'll
Right.
do my thing. But I'm not brave enough yet in my own home. I'll go to anybody's house, I mean, or any place. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
when it's in your
you
home,
pay attention to it, you feed it.
mhm.
Yeah, and you
Yeah,
don't really
yeah,
wanna feed it in your own home because then you
no,
don't have any place to go
no.
back to that's safe.
Exactly. So yeah, but yeah, it's been an interesting. My life has been very interesting, and like I said, for so long, I kept, as a kid, I experienced it, and then I put it on the back burner, and then you didn't want to talk about it because people thought you were, a devil worshiper in the cult or whatever.
Mhm.
But now
Yeah.
I embrace it. If I can help people, if I can help a spirit, actually, at one location at the Anchorage, we helped a spirit um, go to the light. That was probably
Wow.
the coolest thing, one of the coolest things too. Um, his name was Ralph, and I was singing hymns and everything. And we I don't even know how we got on that subject because we were just asking questions, and but he wanted to go. He wanted to go, and we
Oh,
helped him. We helped him go, and yeah, that was pretty cool. Haven't had that experience since then. So I've
yeah.
experienced a lot of things. I try to be very humble. If I can help people or help a spirit or give a message, um, that's what I like to do. And the group
Yeah.
I'm with, they are a lot like that too. We have very positive energy.
Mhm.
Um, just amazing people. They're awesome and amazing. So yeah.
I love that. I love
Mhm.
that. Chad, you've been quiet for a while. I want to make sure I'm not cutting you off whenever you want to ask a question.
No,
Sorry, Chad, I'm
I
talking.
no, I keep. No, it's okay. It's the signal's so weak here. I just keep breaking up and.
No. Yeah, I see sometimes you like kick in and out. But I can say that
Mhm.
I've never experienced a time where I have felt the need or had to show somebody to the light. So I'm very
Mhm.
curious what your process is for that and how you go about that, you and your group personally.
Well, in our group, I haven't experienced that. And like I said, it was only that one time. And I really my era and I didn't really have a plan. Um, the spirit kept saying how lonely he was
Oh,
and how he wanted to go home. And I said, "Well, you are home." And he's like, "No." And he kept telling us no. And I was like, "Well, what does he want? What does he need?" And he said, "I want to go home." And I said, "Do you mean you want to go to heaven?" And then I got excited. I was excited for him. And he actually
Mhm.
told us that he saw a light. Now, whether that's true or not, or maybe I was make believe in that. And we asked him, do you want us to sing a hymnal? And what hymn do you want us to sing? And I sang Amazing Grace, How Great Thou Art. And he says, I can see it, I can see it. And we're like, just go, just go. My daughter kept saying that, and I kept saying that. And I couldn't see it. I couldn't see the light, but I could feel it, if that makes sense.
hmm
I even looked, we were by this window there in the kitchen. I even looked up through the window. I don't know what I was looking at. It was the sky. But I don't know if that helped him go to where I'd like to think that he did go
Yeah,
because he was very active. He kept talking to us and talking to us and talking to us. And then, he kept saying, I see it, I see it, I see it, I'm going. And then it was quiet. And I was like, hello, hello. And, we talked. We're like, I don't feel him. I don't feel him. And he stopped talking. So I'd like to think that he got to where he wanted to go. So,
that's
but
interesting.
I've never experienced it again. I don't know
Yeah.
if I just haven't had an opportunity or I didn't think about it or I haven't thought about it, but so far that's the one time it's been a one-time thing for me. But now that
Yeah.
I feel like my gifts are growing,
Yeah.
so I'm wondering what will happen from here
Yeah.
because of them. Yeah. So yeah.
That's interesting. And you kind of brought me back to, and which it's something because I've been doing this for so long. You
Hmm.
have so many things happen, you kind of forget sometimes.
Hmm.
But you made me remember
Well, it's been.
there was a
I've had
time.
fun.
There was a time when I was in a graveyard and was talking to this woman spirit, and I can't remember her name now. This was years ago, and she was saying that she missed her husband, and I said, "Well, he's right here next to you." And she kept saying, "No, he's not. No, he's not." We had a spirit box out. She was talking to us through the spirit box. And I said, Did he move on?" And, no response. And then eventually I said, "Well, you don't have to stay here. You can go.
Hmm.
You're free to leave. You can go home. You can go to heaven. You can go beyond." And there was, some confusion on her end. And then finally everything went quiet. Our spirit box stopped picking anything up. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, you think she actually crossed over?" So yeah, I forgot about that till you said that
Yeah, that's
when that
awesome.
whole everything went quiet thing. And
Yeah.
that's the thing that kind of made me think that she had moved on. So that was kind of cool.
I love it. I love it. I mean, it gives you such a good feeling. Like I
Yes,
said, I hope he got to. I wish Walter would go to the other side, but that's another story. So
that's
yeah,
funny. I don't know what Walter's problem is. I think you're great, and I mean, you
well,
brought
thank you.
over, quite a few fans with you tonight that kind of agree with me. So, Walter, you don't know what
Yay!
you're
Thank
talking
you.
about.
That's right, Walter. That's right. So,
I have to hop off of here, Rachel and Gwendolyn, but it's really been a pleasure listening to your
oh,
stories.
I have enjoyed. I've
And,
enjoyed meeting you.
and I'll tell
Definitely.
you
But we
some
can kind of,
stories. We're friends on Facebook, so I'll tell you some
Yes,
of my stories.
please. Yes, I would
Okay.
love to hear them. Yes. So
but we
it
can
was
kind
nice
of bring
meeting
it
you,
to a
Chad.
close.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
Have a
yeah.
great
Good night,
night.
Chad. I'll
You
see you.
too. Bye,
Uh,
Chad.
But
bye.
yeah, we can kind of bring it to a close. I don't want to keep
Sure.
you on here any longer. We've been here about an hour and a half now, but I mean, I could keep talking to you. I
Well,
think you're
and
wonderful.
well, thank you so much. You know what? And I think that's what made me so nervous. I thought, what am I got to have things to talk about. And, you're very easy to talk to, and things just kept coming up, things that I hadn't thought about for a while.
Well,
So
thank
yeah,
you.
I've really enjoyed, you have beautiful energy. You do.
Oh,
And,
you too,
yeah,
Rachel.
yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I
So
was so
I've
glad to
enjoyed
have
it.
you on. And yeah, I mean, you were such a delight. And I think that
Thank you.
everybody should follow you on Appalachian Ghost
Yes,
Tours.
please. Yes.
And I'm really excited to follow you guys too. I think I've already followed you on Facebook in the
Yes.
past, but
Good,
I
good.
need to be more active because I
Okay.
just after meeting you and hearing everybody on the teams kind of got the same energy.
Yeah.
It's very humbling and very exciting to get to watch you guys. So
And
I'll have to do that.
And if anybody would like to add me personally, if you have a question or anything, I don't mind that at all. Rachel Weaver. So you'll see a picture of me. But yeah, I'm Rachel Weaver, and I'd be more than I'm all about helping people, and if I can help someone, I'll do my best to do that. So, but
Awesome.
I've enjoyed talking with you. You're so easy to talk to, and I feel like we've known each other for a very long time. So
Same.
I've
I'm
really
so
enjoyed
glad
the
to hear
evening. Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Thanks.
yeah.
Well, bye everyone. Thank you for joining
Bye.
in. And Rachel, if you want to stick around for just a moment
Okay, will
afterwards,
do.
I'll
Okay.
talk to you for a minute.
All right, sounds great.